Right now I am in India. By tomorrow I reach UAE. So
Okay, good afternoon, guys. Am I audible? Yeah, okay. So, today we'll try to finish a couple of concepts, and tomorrow you'll not be having any session because I have an appointment. So, tomorrow I'm not going to take the session. Wednesday, we are going to complete the framework. Okay, complete framework we are going to finish on Wednesday. Thursday will be your mock. Okay, so tomorrow please concentrate and sit and study of whatever we will complete until today. Okay, so Thursday will be your mock. That mock I'll be taking personally, nobody else will be taking. And so it's complete API testing. Okay, complete API testing theory, including your postman, and rest assured I'm taking a consolidated mock. It will be video mock. Okay, so either through Google Meet or through Skype, I am going to take the mock. So kindly be prepared. Those mock ratings are important. Okay, so it is going to build a little more confidence on you, and at the same time we're going to discuss few things, maybe like you are confused with the project. Okay, everything related to your experience. So we are going to discuss. If you have any doubts, you can speak it over to me. And and so couple of resumes, I think most of the resumes I have reviewed as per my knowledge. If I have missed out, okay, because in the mail chain it might have gone down. So if I have missed it, please drop a message, drop your name in the group. I'll reconfirm and I will check it out. Okay. So this is about the thing, and make the changes and keep it ready. Tomorrow, anyways, you will not have any session. You'll be free. So read at the same time. Update your profiles. Okay, update your profiles and keep it ready. So it's almost high time, guys. So back up. And after Thursday, probably Thursday, entire day would be mock itself. I'm planning to take morning sessions also. Morning also, you might be having the mock because I want to finish it off Thursday itself. And coming to your project related queries and translation classes, Friday we are going to have basic translation and API related translation. I'm going to give an idea on Friday. So Saturday, Sunday, prepare your resumes on Rest Assured. From Monday, we are going to start floating your resumes for Rest Assured. Okay. So I want you to update your Java Selenium resumes before Rest Assured. That's the reason, because if the resumes have been properly done, then again I need not have to work on your profiles. Okay, I need not have to review, because I'm going to give you the stipulated amount of point. I'm going to tell you where to make changes. Update the change, your rest assured resumes will be ready. Okay. So where did we stop? Friday. What was the last topic? Yeah, because see, guys, if you know SQL, please add it. If you know SQL, you add it. Those who don't know, avoid it. If you know SQL, you add it. Any other extra skills you have, you add it. Maybe you would have learned any other languages, or you might be having some idea on HTML. That is okay. If you have it, you add. No problem. Okay. Okay. Fine. So let me start. I think different ways to post requests to post.
Yes.
Done. Can you tell me the different ways to post a request?
Now, with the help of Pojo class,
Okay.
we can post. We can with the help of directly taking the file,
Hmm.
we can post
Hmm.
directly creating a JSON object. We can also
Okay.
post.
Hmm.
The last
What else? Hash map. Now tell me. Imagine a situation. You have dynamic data. So when you have dynamic data, what is more preferred? Which way is more preferred?
Ma'am,
Others also.
JSON object,
Speak German.
JSON object and Pojo class.
Hash map.
Yes, ma'am, has map also.
When you have dynamic object, JSON object also works fine. Hash map also works fine, and Pojo class also works fine. But you cannot use JSON file. Now, when you have complex data types, which is more preferred? Pojo class.
Pojo class, ma'am.
Pojo class. Then
Object.
JSON object.
JSON object, ma'am.
Okay.
Then hash
Hash
map
map.
also.
Hash map also, and JSON file also. Okay. So when you have a combination, say for example, the requirement says you have complex data type as well as you have dynamic object. Okay. Then avoid JSON file. All others will support, but most preferred is Pojo class. Okay. Because this is one of the interview question. How do you handle complex request? So complex request can be handled via Pojo class, via JSON file, okay, via JSON object, and via hash map. Okay, so hash map in the sense, for object you are going to create a separate hash map and then give that reference. For JSON object also you are going to create a separate JSON object and you are going to give that reference. Okay, so I think we are done with the request part. So now we will go for response part. Okay, response. When you are sending a request, server is going to give you the response. Okay, so server, you cannot predict what is the response. Okay, I mean to say, I cannot decide what is the response I'm getting. I can only validate. Okay, I cannot decide the response. I can only validate the response. In Postman, how did you do the response validation?
Using then method.
Response validation in Postman, how did you do it? You said
Snippets.
What are the snippets you have used?
Status code map,
And the status
response
code.
time, JSON chip value
Response
check.
time.
Status code, response time, content type, correct? All these are headers. How did you do the response body validation?
JSON value check map. Snippets.
JSON value.
Snippet is JSON value check. Okay, in that JSON value check, what you have to write?
JSON path map. We
Yeah,
have to
you have to
update the value with project ID or whatever we want to say.
Very good. So, when you are talking about response validation, can I tell JSON path is very, very important? Otherwise, you cannot validate. Okay. Even in rest assured also, for header validation, okay, for header validation, lot of inbuilt methods are there. Okay, maybe like, okay, if you use your assert that method. So in that you have, okay, you can validate the status code. You can validate the content type. Okay, you can validate the content type. You can validate the cookies. Okay. 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 Observe. So imagine this is your response. Can you tell me the JSON path for the encircled data? Can you tell me the JSON path for this?
Dot project ID.
Okay. So whenever you get it, it is always understood you have an object here. Correct? So response will be in the form of an object. So I have to start with dot. Okay. Dot. So if you put a dot, you are going to come inside the object. Inside object, there is an array. Now you have to come inside the array. How you are going to write?
0.
0, ma'am.
Zero, ma'am. That's right.
Index value is 0 and the data key is project ID. Yes or no? Similarly, if I have to use it for this data, I'm going to use dot one of project ID. Okay, I'm able to see it. So this is the index. Okay, this is my 0th index. This is my first index. This is my second index. Okay, so whenever you know the exact location, when you know the index of a particular data, it is called as static response validation. Okay, these kind of writing JSON path with the help of indexing, you call it as static response validation. Now, can you imagine what is dynamic response validation? Observe, you have 3 datas here. Like this, imagine you have 1000 data. Okay, like these 3 objects. These 3 are individual projects, right? Imagine you have 1000 projects and you want to identify somewhere around 400 or 500 project. Can you provide the index for this? Can you provide index?
No, ma'am.
Not possible. Practically not possible. What I'm going to do in that cases is I will capture all the project IDs. Okay, I will not mention the index as 1 or 0 or 2 or anything. I will write JSON path as project ID. So project ID is going to capture all the project IDs. All 1000 project IDs I'm going to capture with the help of some Java logic, maybe using a for loop, using a for each loop, using a comparison statements, putting it into a list. Okay, using some Java logic, I am going to derive my actual response. Okay, this you call it as dynamic response validation. When you are using dynamic response validation, always remember we don't know the exact location, okay, of the data, and we cannot use indexing here. Okay, the concept is simple. What it is telling you is if you know the index value, you use it. Some situations you might get wherein you cannot count the indexes. At that time, don't use index, use dynamic response. Okay, in some cases, let's say this is a response I'm getting for get method. Okay, but if I do post method, am I going to get all these responses? If I'm doing post method, then hardly I'm going to get only one object at a time, right? At this point of time, there is no concern. Okay, you have to mention index or anything because there is only one object. Okay, so whether it is static or dynamic, you have to decide when there is more than one object in your response. Is it clear? Let us do it practically so you will get more clarity on that. Observe. Let me create in my test slash Java. Let me create another package. Package name, I'll give it as response validation. Right click, new. Let me add another class. Class name, I'm going to give it as static response validation. So let me create a test method, public void static response validation. To depict static response and dynamic response, I'll use get request itself, because in post it is very easy. In post the response is available only in the form of object, single object. So I'm going to use get all projects. First and foremost thing I have to do is import rest assured. Make this import as a static import and import everything from the library. Okay, then remove rest assured. Step number 1, create prerequisites. Step number 2, send request. Step number 3, validate the response. Okay, so I don't have any prerequisites. It is a get all operation. So let me just use base URI here. http:// localhost port is equal to 8084. Let me send the request. So I don't have prerequisite, so no need to start with given. So I'm directly starting with when method. So when dot post observe. So let me use the endpoint slash projects. Okay. Then I'm just using log dot all. Let us see first how the response is coming so that we can provide the validation. Let me run it. What happened? Post is not supported. Oh, sorry. So endpoint is different. I think get is the method. Yeah. Let me run it. Okay. Okay, too many datas are there, so it is not taking the first data for me. Let me do one more thing. I'll go to my database. Okay. So many datas are there, so that's the reason why it is not showing everything in my Eclipse. And if you observe, a couple of things have been overwritten also. See, from 202 I have created nearly 10,000 data. I have to discard this. Okay, so I don't know which index it is present, so you all can try it with this. So I'm going to try it with create project itself. Okay, let me show you how does it work. Okay, I'm using create project, so you can try with get option. So for dynamic I'll take get, because I'm not able to find the index. Okay, that is the reason. Okay, see, observe, 10,000 projects I have created, maybe from estate 4 or 5. Okay, so the project ID is 10202. Okay, this is the project ID. Okay, now observe, I want to capture this project ID. Okay, this is my expected data. Let us mark it up somewhere. Okay, let me declare string expected data is equal to, shall I take project name? Okay, I will take project name. Now, this is my expected data. I want to capture that in my response. How do I capture it? Anything you can capture. You can just capture a message, or in your get request only you can capture the project ID or the name, anything. Okay. So now from the response I want to capture that. How do you do it? Where I have to break the change? Tell me. Where I have to break it? Should I have to break it here or at the post? Where I have to break?
And after assert that,
Ma'am, at the post, no.
At the post. Okay, I'm going to break it. So I don't want to log anything. Let me just remove it. Observe. Okay, now where I'm going to capture this? No doubt you have broken. Still post will happen. Where are you going to capture this? Should I have to capture it at when, or I have to capture it at given? Tell me. Who is that
Then
now
when?
joining? When or given? Observe, when is also chained. Okay, you have to capture it at the given itself. So what will be the return type of this entire response now, entire request? What will be the return type? What will be the return type?
Response.
Why? Why it is response? Observe, when you are chaining the method, the last method what is returning you, that will be the return type of all the chained methods. All the chained methods, whatever is at the end, that return type will hold good. Okay, so if you are breaking it here, okay, there will be return type mismatch. Okay, there will be return type mismatch. So post return type is response. So this entire chained methods are going to return you response. Is it clear? See, that's why I told you, you should know both BDD approach as well as without BDD approach. Okay, because you have to take the response. First, you should send the request, right? If you want to get the response. So this sending request will be done by post. So you have to break the chain at post. Go for mute, everybody. Go for mute. Now observe. I have entire response captured in a variable called as RESP. Now, for this response, I have a method called as JSON path. Okay, JSON path is the method. It has a subordinate method called as get. Okay, in this get method, you are going to write the required path. Okay, say for example, what is the path here? I want to capture this data. Project name is the data I want to capture. So what is the key? Project name is the key. So what is your JSON path for this? What is JSON path for this?
Dot project name.
Dot project name. Okay, it is right, but in rest assured, no need to use dot for the first object. Okay, what I'm trying to tell is, observe, this is your response body. Okay, this is your response body, which is in the form of JSON. Okay, which is in the form of JSON. Rest assured, through JSON path method, automatically it will get inside. Okay, we were using dot. Okay, we were using dot message or dot project name or anything. Now, if you write after getting inside the object, if whatever the attribute you want, maybe like message or project name. Okay, if you write this, it is enough, because by default he is getting inside the object, first object. But if you have, let's say, if you have this object inside that, okay, let's say, imagine there is another attribute. Okay, there is another attribute here called as project. So that attribute or that key is of type object. Now how do you write the JSON path for this?
Index. No.
You can tell me. See, before I had a simple request. Now I have a complex request. Now I want to capture this project ID. How do you write the JSON path in rest assured?
Index number.
How you are going to use index? Where is array? Where is array? Simple, guys. My question is very simple. I have encircled something. No. Tell me the JSON path for this. First tell it. Later we will discuss how rest assured will take care of it. Tell me the JSON path for project ID 4603. Come on. Project ID, simple JSON path I'm asking. I'm not asking anything complex. Okay, good. Some of you have replied. So, my JSON path will be dot project ID. Correct? No. So this, writing this, any confusions? Writing this one, any confusions? No, right? So this is our regular JSON path. What I'm telling is, when you are using rest assured, no need to put this dot. That's all. Okay, rest all is same. Rest all is same. No need to put this dot, because internally your rest assured will put that. Okay, so while giving it to rest assured, directly give it as project ID. If there are multiple objects, let's say like this, you have multiple objects, then you have to specify the index. Okay, then you have to specify the index. It is like very first object, you need not put a dot in rest assured. He is going to take it. Okay. So now observe. So project name I have captured. This, let me take it as my actual data. Okay, this is my expected data. Will provide assertions. So I'm using actual data. The return type of your get method will be always object. The reason is, it does not know what is the data present. Okay, for example, your JSON supports lot many values. Okay, it might be boolean, it might be integer, it might be array, object, anything. So your get method doesn't know what your key is giving. So make this as string, because while for comparison you should not get type mismatch. Okay, make it as string, and later I'm going to use testng assert. Assert dot assert equals, so actual data compared with expected data. Okay, actual data compared with expected data. See, I'm not using anywhere log.all, so it is not logging. If you want to log, you can log it also. Response dot then dot log dot all. Okay. The reason why I'm using after a session is only if it is passed, it is going to log the response. If it is failed, it is not going to log the response. Okay. So this is how you are going to provide validation. So 1 second, let me show it to you. Okay, because I have not shown with get request. See, observe. So this is the project ID I have captured, and I know exactly it is in first index. So I have written 1 dot project ID. Okay, so my data will be verified. If I don't know which index it is present, then I'm not going to use this indexing at all. Okay, I will capture all the project IDs, and then I have to capture the I have to store it in a list or set, then I have to proceed. Okay, so if you know the indexing, then you can directly use it. Okay, if you want, you can take a picture of it, because I'm not sure which index I have it, so I could not show this to you. So if you want, you can take a picture and try this. Okay, fine. Now let us come back. So this is how your static validation works. Exact location, when you know, you will go for it. Another one is, let me show you, dynamic response validation. Okay, let me create a test method. Okay, so let me import rest assured. Let me make it as a static import. Let me append dot star. Validate the response. Okay, so I don't have any prerequisites. Let me just create base URI. Okay, let me send a request. So here I'll make use of get request. So let me just give when dot get, endpoint is slash project. Let me log it first. Okay, the reason why you log it every time is to check what is the response you want to get. Okay, so let me save it and let me run it. Observe, it is throwing me some response. Okay, it is throwing me some response. Imagine I want to capture this data. Okay, I have been just given as 9614. Okay, project ID, expected data is expected data is 9614. I don't know which index it is present. I just want to check whether this data is readily available or not. So how do I have to write? Oh, oh. What can you? Highly not possible, right? It's not at all possible. How can you count it? Not possible. Now what I have to do? Now what I have to do? Let me write JSON path, observe. So I'm going to break it after get. Okay, I don't need this. So what is the return type? Return type of this is response. Okay, return type of this is response. Okay, to provide validation, let me call Okay, I'm really sorry, guys. So it does not work like your find elements, okay? Because in find elements, it was giving you the first data, but here it is going to give you class cast exception when you are trying to capture only one data. So it is telling you, boss, if you use this, you are going to get multiple project IDs. So what I am going to do is I will use a list for this. Okay, I'm going to use a list java.util package. Okay, I'm going to capture everything in the list. Okay, you can either specify it as list or list of string. Both are no problem. After capturing what I'm going to do, let me create a simple for each loop. Okay, for the type conversion. Actual data colon list. So every data will be taken here. Now what I'm going to do, okay, so you can either use assertion here directly, assert equals, okay, actual data with your expected data. Okay, so later if you want to print actual data, you can print it. Okay, simple. Inside my for loop only, I'm trying to compare. If it is true, it will come out. Otherwise, I mean, if it is true, it is going to print me the data. Otherwise, it is going to give me null or assertion error. Okay, direct validation.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Okay. One.
Excuse me,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Tell me.
It is like you have stored all the responses in that value, and you are trying to compare and get the value which you have stored in expected data.
Yes, we are trying to compare. I'm not equating at all. No.
Yeah,
You should
fine.
Yeah. Understanding? I'm trying to store everything. Complete response project ID. It's like you have lot of complete response. Okay, imagine you are doing get request. Everything is there. Project ID, project name, message, that, this and all. Out of all those details, particularly I'm taking project ID, I'm storing it in a list, and I'm comparing one by one with my expected data. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. Because there
If-
will be a lot of number, so we don't know
Yes.
the exact value.
We don't know. Okay, usually that's how it works in reality, right? 10,000 to 4,000, 5,000 products you'll be having.
Yes.
So this is a better approach. Okay, you can either use equals or you can use equals ignore case. Okay, I'm trying to compare here. After comparison, there are two ways. Observe here. Okay, after comparison, you can perform two actions. One is provide assertion. Another one is, okay, you can just print it. Okay, let me just print actual data and observe. I'm going to break. Okay, break in the sense it is going to come out of my if condition as well as my for each loop. The reason is I have found it. Okay, so no need to continue. And you can also make another change, another updation. Let me use boolean value called as flag, and I will initialize it to false. Okay, I will initialize it to false. If my data is correct, okay, it is true, then I'm going to reinitialize it to true. Okay, reinitialize it to true. This event, in technical terms, we call it as flag raising. Okay, flag raising means if condition is working satisfied or it is true, then you declare a variable, boolean variable called as flag, initialize it to false. If the condition is satisfied, you reinitialize it to true. Okay, later with this status you can play anything. Say for example, you can use if flag, if flag. Okay, I'm going to print it is passed. Else you can just have a condition failed. Okay, or else inside this only you want to give a session, you can give it. Okay, both are right. Okay, observe. Let us try this out. See, it's printing and it is telling me pass. Okay, it is just comparing the two things. Okay, this is one of the approaches. Let me comment. Observe, let me comment. Okay, if it is true, I'll assert it. assert dot assert true for flag. Okay, so let me use it in this way. It will be much more convenient. Okay, this is one of the option. If you don't want to use if else, then in one line you can provide validation with the help of assert dot assert true. What is the condition you are going to give? Flag. So if the condition, your condition is satisfied, flag will be true, assertion will be passed. If your condition is not satisfied, that means you have initialized it to false, so flag will be false. Okay, this is another kind of validation. Okay, you have got the data and you have provided the validation. Okay, so this is how you are going to deal with dynamic data. Okay, take a picture of this. Okay, so basically let me rewind whatever we have discussed. I will be having a data, expected data. I'm going to search this expected data in my response. So what I am going to do is I will capture all the project IDs from the response into a list. In this list, I'm going to compare each and every data with my actual or expected data. Then I'm going to perform the action. Okay, this is dynamic because we will not know which index the data is present, or we cannot analyze the index number. The data count is very huge. If it is 3 or 4, you can analyze it, but if it is 10,000, how can you analyze? Okay, so at that time it is a better approach. Take a picture of this. Okay, will you practice? Or I have response time validation. I'll complete that also. Or will you practice it?
Ma'am,
Yeah, tell me. I'll complete it? Okay. Tell
ma'am,
me.
I have one question regarding that. Ma'am, if I'm having a actual expected data, then can't we directly use the get option? If it is in the database, it will be come out and display, and also we can
See. Get means you are writing a JSON path for this. Anywhere have you seen writing JSON path for value or key?
No, ma'am.
You are writing JSON path for the key, right? So you should pass key here. You cannot pass the value. So what happens if you pass the value means it is going to compare. Okay, it is going to compare or it is going to search. Okay, TY underscore, let's say project ID is 1214. I have taken. This project ID will be searched here in all the keys. Will it be present? This project ID is not present in the key. It is present in where? In the value. Correct, no? So how can it pass? It will never pass.
Right.
Okay, yeah. Okay, brush up on JSON path. I think a couple of you have already forgotten. Okay. Okay, so this is the two types of validations. One is static response validation, another one is dynamic response validation. And when it comes to response time, okay, observe. Let me create a new class. Let me give it as response time validation. Status code and content type are readily available in built methods, so need not worry about it. But when it comes to response time, we don't have any operators like less than or greater than. Okay, we don't have any operators. Let me show it to you. Okay, the same get request I'm going to use. So let me import rest assured. Make it as a static import and dot star one 3. Okay, observe. So I'll use the get method itself. Let me use base URI. Okay, I'm going to use get method. So let me start with when dot get. So let me use slash projects. Okay, observe dot. Okay, then let me use assert. Since it is in header, no need to write the JSON path. Okay, I have a method called as assert that. Under assert that, there is a method called as time. Okay, there is a method called as time. Look at the argument which is accepted by your time method. What is it telling? Okay, there is an argument called as matcher. Okay, so without this, you cannot assert the time. Any other options if you ask me? Yes, we have a getter method. Okay, we have a getter method. Let me show that to you also. Observe a getter method. So response dot get time. Okay, so this is the getter method you have. Let me write it in a print statement. Observe. Let me run it. I'm not logging it, so I'm just capturing the response time. So get time is the method present in your response interface, which is going to just display the time. Okay, which is just going to display the time. What time? It will be in the milliseconds. What time you have got the response, or what is the time your server took to respond to your request. But this time, it's just a getter. What you can do is you can capture it, write some Java logic, and you can provide the comparison. But there are no inbuilt methods to provide comparison, whether it is less than or greater than, range. Okay, you cannot provide. So what we have to do is we have a third party tool, okay, called as Hamcrest Matchers. Okay, just a moment. Okay, let me search Hamcrest Matchers. This is the widely used tool to search for to validate response time. Okay, more frequently used option. Okay, anywhere if you go and validate time for in your rest assured, so this is the tool that industry is going to use, because nobody want to write huge Java logics and all. Okay, so let me use it. Even you should know, I mean, if someone asks you how did you validate your response time, so you have to tell Hamcrest Matchers. Let me write a comment. So this is used for a response time validation. Okay, no doubt you can use Java logic, you can give random value less than 10, less than 12, but it is not recommended. Observe what I'm going to do now. Okay, regular way dot then dot assert that. Under assert there is an option called as time. It is an overloaded method. You can either give just the value or you can also specify the time unit. both will work. Choose anything. Okay, so all the methods present in this are static. So call the method from the class. Are you able to see here matchers? Okay, from Hamcrest. Okay, choose this. Choose the class. Matcher is an interface. Matchers is the class. Okay, matchers dot. Here you have lot of options. Okay, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to. Okay, anything you can use. So let me use less than. Okay, let me give it as 500. It is a long value, so mandatorily you have to append L. Okay, so this is how you are going to validate for response time. Okay, this is how you are going to validate for response time. From matchers class, this is the only usage. Okay, less than or greater than. That's all. Okay, no other usage is there. Nowhere else you are going to use it. This is the only way, or this is the only place where you are going to use, because rest assured does not have this option. Comparing the values is not there. Okay, so take a picture of this and try it. So observe. Let me come back to the document. Pojo class. I think programs also I have given. It will be very easy for you. See, response validation. For every request, response has to be validated in order to check the correctness of the server response. REST assured also provides assertions as an inbuilt method in validatable response interface. Then dot assert for response header validation. Okay, status code and content type can be validated with the help of inbuilt methods. So assert that content type and assert that status code. When it comes to response body validation, we have to validate it with the help of JSON path. Okay, so this is a syntax, JSON path dot get. Write JSON path for the required data in the response. There are two types of validations. Okay, static response validation, when we know where exactly the required data is present in response, we use static response. It always returns you single value. Okay, it always uses index. Okay, so observe one dot project ID I have taken. I am asserting. Dynamic response validation is when we don't know where exactly the data is present in the response, we use dynamic response. Here we cannot use index because we don't know, and it will always return a collection, multiple values. If you want to eliminate the duplicates, you use set. If you want to retain the duplicates, you use list. Depends on you and your requirement. Okay, so same thing I have just scribbled it. Okay, so flag I have taken, then I have logged also. Response time validation. In order to validate response time, there are no inbuilt methods in rest assured where we can specify the range. Hence we make use of Hamcrest matchers. So this is the dependency I have given, and this is how you are going to use it. Okay, how do you handle or validate complex response in rest assured means? The answer is by writing JSON path and by using JSON path method from response interface. Okay, I hope you can practice this. Okay, so I hope the concepts are clear. Is it clear, everybody? Yeah, sure. Okay, I have given you the dependency also. Please practice this and observe here. Data driven testing in rest assured. So data driven testing, anywhere you go, when it comes to TestNG, we have to do it with the help of data provider itself. So I have given you the sample program here. So try to practice this as a task tomorrow. Since tomorrow I don't have any session, will not waste the time. So you yourself upgrade it. Take down the scenario for that. Take down the scenario. Scenario is create a post request. Create a post request to post 10 projects using single request. Okay, I'll give it as using 10 different projects. Okay, to post 10 different projects using a single request. Okay, create a post request to post 10 different projects using a single request. So you have to create a data provider to accept 10 datas. Okay, here observe I have taken only 3 datas. Okay, 1, 2, 3 datas only. So you have to create 10 datas like this and read it out with the help of Pojo class. Okay, use random number also. Is it clear? So that task, no need to do it now. Do it in the tomorrow session time only. Okay, so that it is completed. Wednesday we'll do parameters, request chaining and authentication. So Thursday will be your mock. Okay, fine guys. So we are done for the day. So you can practice this. We'll catch up on Wednesday. Okay, so I'm repeating. I'm going to ask you to share the screen and I'm going to check the task on Wednesday. Okay. Okay, fine guys. Thank you so much. Any other doubts? Yeah, tell me.
Ma'am, will just after finishing the rest assured or post API, will requirement get started or it will be
From Monday. No. From Monday, I'm planning your requirements.
Because some of batch project batch sir said that it will take 2 to 3 months to get it.
Who? Which project class?
Vijay sir's class, ma'am.
Spider.
No. See, guys, forget about it. That doesn't matter to us. Okay. Maybe they are talking about their project class, not about test yantra. You're all onboarded to test yantra, right? We follow testing. What test yantra says? What Deepak sir says. Okay.
Okay.
And also in your batch, I think Vikas, Tushar, some 4 to 5 resumes I have already given. Okay, I have already given it to the Noida requirement. So anytime you might get it. Others also I'm planning. Okay. So they are asking me for rest assured profiles. So by Monday I have told them to that Monday they'll be having resumes in their hand. So once they start floating, obviously your interviews will get scheduled. Okay.
Ma'am, when do we have Agile and Jira sessions?
Agile and Jira, before your interviews appear, I'm planning to have it. Okay, maybe I'll only take, or else during the translation itself, I'll cover Agile. So if you are strong in Agile, Jira will be around half a day sessions that I'll arrange it. Okay, before interview, I'll plan it.
Okay, ma'am.
If your resumes are ready, if it is reached the business units, so then they'll take around 2 to 3 days of time because they have to send it to client. Client should do the screening. After screening, some profiles might be screen reject. They have to select the profiles. Then they should give the schedule, right? So by that time we can finish all these things. Because of this, we will not waste the time. Okay. We'll plan it. First we will finish rest assured. We'll do the resume preparation on rest assured. Then all the left out concepts we will cover it.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Any other doubts? Okay, fine guys. So we'll catch up on Wednesday. Tomorrow, complete the task. Okay, I'll wind it up.